this has really grown over the last decade, and it truly is a movement that is sweeping the country in ways I think that those of us who started off in this work really couldn't imagine. So it really is quite wonderful to be here today and see the folks that are here. As Deborah said, I'm a co-director of the National Farm to School Network, and in that network we have 8 regions that are outlined here in color, so you can see what those regions are. And we have 39 states that have farm to school programs. There are over 2,000 farm to school programs in the country, and they are located in about 9% of all of the schools in the United States. So we think that's really pretty amazing. As part of the national network, in addition to the 8 regions, there are also regional steering committees that support each of those regions. And we also have national advisory committees that support us both in our program planning and in our marketing and promotion. And we have here with us today Gail Feenstra, who is on the National Network Strategy Advisory Committee. We're glad to have her here. Other folks that we're working with on a national level include the National PTA, the National School Nutrition Association, Action for Healthy Kids, and some of the folks that were also very instrumental in starting farm to school work. Mike Ham from Michigan State University, Tom Kelly from the University of New Hampshire, Jennifer Wilkins from Cornell University are all working with us and provide a great sense of where we started and where we need to go. And the different areas that we work in at the National Network include national policy work, media work, training and technical assistance, informational services, and networking. And I just wanted to give you a few of the accomplishments so you can get a feel for some of the work that we've been doing. We've been very active in the last year, couple years, 5 years, 6 years, in working on the Farm Bill. And one of the biggest issues that we have addressed there is trying to make it okay for food service directors to use a local geographic area in their bid specifications when they're ordering product, so that that Christy here in Portland can say, we want cherries grown in Oregon, which is something they have not been able to do until this year. And I'm happy to say that we were successful in that effort, and folks can now specify a local area in their bid. We feel really good about that. Thank you. And then also in the realm of the media, Deb Eschmeyer, stand up, please. Deb is our marketing and promotions person. She's a full-time staffer for the National Network, and she's been instrumental in getting newspaper articles in over 20 newspapers around farm to school. Not only that, but we have had pieces on CNN. We've been in the Wall Street Journal, on Martha Stewart Living Radio, in the New York Times. She's really just done a phenomenal job of getting the word out about farm to school. And the best thing is that, you know, she's your resource. So whatever kind of help, assistance, advice, questions you might have along media and promotion lines, Deb is available to help everybody here. And thirdly, just want to mention how many folks here were at our Baltimore conference almost 2 years ago, National Farm to Cafeteria Conference. We had a conference of farm to cafeteria folks in Baltimore. We had over 400 people, and as part of that, we did a lobbying visit to the Hill and had over 100 folks going and talking to their elected representatives about geographic preference, about other issues related to farm to school, so we feel really good about that. And just very briefly, I wanted to give you a flavor of some of the other programs that are happening from around the country. And to me, one of the more exciting things that's happening is where we kind of used to think about farm to school as small and in a few schools and a couple fresh products and yes, apples and maybe salad greens. And that's all wonderful, and it's a great way certainly to start farm to school programs and great ways for those to exist. But what we've really seen in the last couple years is the scaling up of these efforts and the branching out into other products and into other areas. So for example, in Florida, where the New North Florida Cooperative operates. They work with low-income African American farmers to serve low-income African American kids in Florida, Mississippi, and Georgia, and they serve over 300,000 students a year collard greens, as well as sweet potatoes and green beans. And they've got those collard greens in a rough chop and a fine chop, and they're bagged and they can be frozen, and they just do a wonderful product, a great service for those schools. In New York, in upstate New York, there is an apple grower who put in a processing facility specifically for schools and began to market the 2.5-ounce snack pack of apples. And with those apples, he's been able to make $4 million a year, selling to the New York City schools, which have 800,000 students. Also in New York City, an upstate dairy was able to beat out Dannon for a yogurt contract. And the way that they did that was by not having food coloring, not having artificial sweeteners in their product. And so they were able to get that market, selling 8,000 cases a month or $74,000 a month. New Mexico, in Albuquerque, 45,000 students. The food service director there said, we can't just serve New Mexican product to some kids, we got to do it in all schools. So in New Mexico, farmers are providing apples, melons, pears, and a few other items for 45,000 students in the Albuquerque School District. And I know you're going to be hearing things about Portland here, but I did have the opportunity to present with Christy at the School Nutrition Association meeting in Philadelphia, and was really just stunned to hear about one of her new products being a chili that instead of using the national brand of chili, she's moving to using beans and lentils from the Northwest that will go into a regional chili here in Portland. And last but not least, in Vermont, where there is a chicken farmer that does a big production in chickens and can sell everything but the legs. Those little chicken legs are now going to students in the Vermont schools. And so I find it very encouraging that that these types of kind of larger scale and center of the plate process kinds of items are making their way into the world of farm to school. Just in terms a little bit of what's coming up this coming year. We're going to be working on the Child Nutrition Reauthorization, which is the next big federal piece of legislation that's coming up. We will certainly be asking for more money for school reimbursements, no question about that. That's high on the top of the list. We also, in the last Child Nutrition Reauthorization, did get a Farm to Cafeteria grant program authorized. We did not get it funded. We will be looking for mandatory funding, which will allow groups to apply for up to $100,000 to start farm-to-school programs in their region. So those are two of the top priorities that we'll be looking at. In addition to that, in the media and marketing realm, we have been working with a consultant to help us develop really what does farm-to-school look like now that we've come this far. Are there different ways that we should be looking at it or defining it? And so you'll be hearing more from us about that in the future, and we want to thank EcoTrust for their role in helping push us along with that effort. And last but not least, we'll be organizing our next National Farm to Cafeteria Conference, and hallelujah, it's right here in Portland. So it will be happening on March 19th through the 21st next year, and we're very much looking forward to coming back for that. And I just want to close with a quote. If you were in Baltimore, you might have heard Kelly Brownell use this quote, and it just reminds me of the fact that there is not really a natural match of farm to school. I mean, when you're trying to get farm to school into the schools, it's not a natural match. It's hard to do. It's not easy to do. And I say that just because systems really aren't set up necessarily to buy from farmers, to buy direct, to use fresh product, among other things. And so there's a quote that I've really liked that I found inspiring, and this is from Gandhi. First they laugh at you, then they ignore you, then they fight you, then you win. So, thank you.